We're in the thick of this current console generation, and the PlayStation 4 is now rife with amazing experiences. The incredible library of games includes emotional stories, deep and rewarding mechanics, and fantastic worlds to explore and absorb. Here are our 25 favorite games on the PS4.
While Rogue Legacy looks like a fairly run-of-the-mill 2D action platformer, it's one of the most epic and idiosyncratic adventures around. Players venture forth into a procedurally generated castle where enemies are fierce and death is permanent. But dying is only the beginning, with the quest being passed on to the hero's descendants. When Guacamelee came to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, its beautiful graphics, fluid beat-em-up gameplay, and Metroidvania-style non-linearity floored gamers. It was a tremendous amount of fun to play. Now that Guacamelee is alive and well on PS4, it's better than ever. With every new iteration, developer Rocksteady has steadily built what could have been just another movie license throwaway into a genre-topping, if not defining, action game. Arkham Knight represents the fullest expression of that evolution, expanding upon and refining the sandbox structure of Arkham City considerably, while adding a whole new pillar of gameplay in the form of the Batmobile. Broken Age is an absolute joy of an adventure. It's a gorgeous, impeccably written adventure that simultaneously tugs at my nostalgic core while ushering in a new era for the point-and-click genre. Minecraft is excellent for many reasons, but the most important is that it both encourages creativity and a sense of wonder. Few games have this much potential for creation, and even fewer have set the world on fire like Minecraft. It's likely few ever will in the same way again. The idea of rocket-powered cars flipping through the air in a Thunderdome-esque match of cage soccer sounds like incoherent ramblings of a madman, but it turns out to be just crazy enough to work. Rocket League finds dumb fun in pulling turbocharge-assisted front flips in an ice cream truck, and the white-knuckle strategy in working with your team to control the giant ball on offense and defense. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture excels at building a dense world, evocative tone, and rich cast of characters. Its 5 hours are filled with some really great exploration, discovery, and memorable moments. Piecing together its web of heartbreak, loss, and ultimate revelation provides a great experience. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture rewarded my patience with a fulfilling journey. Final Fantasy XIV isn't the best MMORPG on PS4 just because it's the only game of its type on this platform. It earns the title and its place in this list because it's an excellent MMO no matter where you play. Until Dawn is a gleefully cheesy homage to horror movies set in a world built by a developer that clearly adores the genre. Its robust choice and consequence system and keen eye on horror's most ridiculous tropes make Until Dawn ultimately worth playing. I came as a little surprised that a game from Finnish developer Housemarque would create an excellent PS4 game. What came as an even bigger surprise is that it's still one of the most dominant and enjoyable games on the console even years after its release.
Tales from the Borderlands explores Reese and Fiona's journey in impeccable fashion. From heartbreak to hilarity, it runs the gamut of emotions in some really effective ways. Telltale has created some of the finest video game stories in the past few years, and Tales is absolutely at the top of that list.
Many of us grew up with Japanese RPGs, but very few of them have grown up with us. Child of Light is a brilliant example of what happens when talented artists and designers who've loved JRPGs all their life decide to make one that isn't constrained by the sophomoric tone that permeates much of the genre. Hack, slash, loot, and repeat. Diablo III Ultimate Evil Edition's endless cycle of rewarding action is as addictive as can be, and its beautiful art makes chopping demons into chunks of gore all the more satisfying. Sharing that action with up to 3 other players on one screen make it one of our favorite couch co-op games too. Supergiant's follow-up to Bastion is a gorgeous, deep, and memorable action RPG. Transistor's confident art style helps create a unique and memorable world, and its stellar soundtrack is one of the strongest in recent memory. Shadow of Mordor takes the fundamental action and open-world traversal from established great series like Batman Arkham and Assassin's Creed, and adds something new and surprising that will leave a lasting mark on gaming. The Nemesis system astounded us with the personality imbued to its dynamic heroic captains and war chiefs. Dragon Age Inquisition, our 2014 Game of the Year winner, raises the bar for excellence in the design of modern role-playing games. This massive open world is full of breathtaking vistas, nuanced characters, political drama built upon rich lore, and of course, battles with huge beasts. In the dozens or hundreds of hours you can spend completing its grand storyline and rich side quests, BioWare's latest epic entrenches itself as one of the greats.
The world, exploration, crafting, atmosphere, and story of Fallout 4 are all key parts of this hugely successful sandbox role-playing game. Great new reasons to obsessively gather and hoard relics of happier times, strong companions, and sympathetic villains driving tough decisions, making an adventure that will definitely replay and revisit. These 3 exemplary games have never looked or played better than they do here, so whether you've played them before or not, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, should be in your library. These games have aged remarkably well, they're still an absolute blast to play, and their characters are as charming and memorable as ever.
It may be the same core game as its PS3 counterpart, but that doesn't make it any less incredible. In fact, the PS4 edition of Grand Theft Auto V earns extra points for taking an already huge, deep game and adding more soundtrack songs, more props to cutscenes, more vehicles, and biggest of all, an incredible first-person mode that makes the already seminal GTA V feel like a completely different game. At just over 2 hours long, Journey delivers an adventure that runs the gamut of human emotions. The awe that comes from cresting your first hill and spotting the mountain on the horizon is paired expertly with the fear that stems from exploring the ancient caverns beneath your destination. The playful curiosity of stumbling across a fellow traveler, another player having their own experience, and wordlessly cooperating with them to explore the world is only strengthened by the isolation and desperation that awaits near the mountain's frozen summit.
The Witness has a power and pull that carried us through its wonderful journey. Its graceful combination of tangible goals, obscurity, and freedom creates ample opportunities for small victories and grand revelations alike. Its themes weave themselves beautifully throughout the gorgeous world and wide variety of puzzles, and the sense of accomplishment you feel after completing a particularly tricky puzzle is unrivaled.
The re-release of Naughty Dog's smash hit game in the form of Remastered comes bundled in with a ton of DLC, including the fabulous Left Behind prequel, as well as upgraded visuals and some other tweaks, fixes, and new additions. The Last of Us is an unmitigated, undisputed masterpiece, arguably last generation's greatest game on any console, and perhaps one of the best games of all time too. In a time seemingly all about various genres and franchises stepping out into the open world format, Metal Gear Solid 5 stands tall above the rest in terms of adapting its gameplay to the new structure. Where some other franchises struggle to maintain their identity within a sandbox, Metal Gear thrives on it, turning all that open space into a tactical espionage playground. No game in recent memory has rewarded players' intelligence so generously. Bloodborne is an amazing, exacting, and exhausting pilgrimage through the gorgeous land that imposes a feeling of approaching the bottom of a descent into madness. From Software has taken the formula they concocted with the Souls games and injected it with a sense of speed, anger, and urgency that makes for an unforgettable experience. The Witcher 3 is a remarkable feat of open-world design savvy. Its 2 main sandbox areas are beyond massive, but their density actually matches their breadth. You can't go anywhere within its breathtaking landscapes without running into things to do. The best part is that almost every point of interest you come across ties back into one of the deepest lore pools in gaming, providing motivation and context to its detailed RPG systems and its brutal responsive combat. There you have it, IGN's top 25 PlayStation 4 games. Did your favorite game make the list? Let us know in the comments, and for all things Sony, PlayStation, and video games, you're already in the right place, IGN.